Picture this. You've just had 3 losing trades in a row. Your account is down 15%. Your heart is racing. Your palms are sweaty. And then you do it. You double your position size on the next trade, convinced you need to make it all back now. We've all been there. And for 90% of retail traders, this is exactly where the story ends. Not with a bang, but with a blown account and a painful lesson learned the expensive way. But here's what nobody talks about. What if there was a system specifically designed to stop you from making these catastrophic mistakes? What if someone essentially forced you to be disciplined until it became second nature? Today, we're diving deep into something that might sound counterintuitive, how the rules and restrictions that prop firms place on you, the very things that some people complain about, are actually the secret weapon that transforms gamblers into professional traders. This isn't just theory. We're going to break down the psychology, look at real examples, and I'll show you why even traders who plan to eventually use their own capital should seriously consider going through a prop firm challenge first. Think of it as trader boot camp. Let's get into it. Before we talk about how prop firms help, we need to understand the problem they're solving, and it's not what most people think. See, most retail traders fail not because they don't understand charts or indicators or market structure. They fail because of psychology. It's the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. Studies show that between 70–90% of retail traders lose money, but here's the kicker. It's not because they can't find winning trades. Most traders actually have a win rate above 50%. So what's going wrong? The problem is position sizing during emotional states, revenge trading after losses, and the complete absence of a structured risk management system. Let me give you a real example. Let's say you start with a $10,000 account. You have a good system that wins 55% of the time. You risk 2% per trade, which is $200. After 5 winning trades, you're up $1,000. You're feeling great. Then you hit a losing streak. 3 losses in a row. You're down $600 from your peak. Now you're at $10,400 total. Still profitable overall, right? But emotionally, you feel like you just lost. Your brain isn't thinking about the starting $10,000. It's thinking about that $11,000 peak. And this is where the psychology trap snaps shut. Your next trade, you think, I'll just risk a little more to make it back faster. Instead of $200, you risk $500. That's 5% of your account. You lose. Now you're at $9,900. The next trade, panic sets in. I can't be down on my own account. You risk $1,000, 10% of what's left. You lose again. Now you're at $8,900. In just 5 trades after being profitable, you've destroyed 11% of your account. And this happens every single day to retail traders around the world. So how do prop firms solve this? Let's break it down rule by rule. Let's start with the rule that most people complain about the most. Maximum drawdown limits. Typically, prop firms set this at 10% for max drawdown and 5% for daily loss limits. On the surface, this seems restrictive. Only 10%? That's not enough room to breathe. But here's what's really happening. A 10% maximum drawdown limit does something brilliant. It forces you to do the math before you enter a trade. Let's say you're trading a $100,000 account with a 10% max drawdown. That means you cannot lose more than $10,000 before you're out. Sounds simple, right? But watch what happens to your psychology. If you know you can't lose more than $10,000 total, and you want to take, let's say, 20 trades before you hit that limit, which gives you room to learn and adapt, you can only lose $500 per trade on average. This automatically forces you to think, okay, if my stop loss is 50 pips away, how many lots can I actually trade to keep my loss at $500? With a standard lot where each pip is worth $10, you can only trade 1 lot. That's it. The math doesn't lie. Now compare this to the retail trader with their own $10,000 account. There's no hard stop. They might tell themselves, I'll stop at 10% down, but when they hit 10%, there's no circuit breaker. They just keep going. Maybe I can make it back. Just one more trade. It's my money. I can do what I want. I want to share a story from a trader named Marcus. I interviewed him a few months back. He had blown 3 personal accounts, each around $5,000, over 2 years. Every time, the same pattern. He'd be up, then a losing streak would hit, and he'd completely abandon his risk management trying to recover. When he started a prop firm challenge with a $25,000 evaluation account, something clicked. He told me, for the first time, I couldn't negotiate with myself. The system would literally lock me out if I hit that daily loss limit. It forced me to walk away, cool off, and come back the next day. Marcus passed his challenge on the second attempt and has now been trading a funded account for over a year. But here's the important part. He told me that even if he goes back to trading his own money, he's now psychologically wired to respect those limits. The prop firm rules literally rewired his trading brain. The drawdown limit isn't just a rule. It's a psychological circuit breaker that stops you from entering the death spiral of emotional trading. It's the difference between I should stop and I must stop. And that must is what separates professionals from gamblers. Now let's talk about profit targets. Most prop firm challenges require you to hit something like 8 to 10% profit in phase 1 and 5% in phase 2. Again, people complain, why do I need to prove myself twice? But this is where the genius of the system really shines. Profit targets do two critical things. They create a clear finish line, and they force you to prove consistency, not luck. Think about retail trading for a moment. What's your goal? Make money isn't specific enough. Make how much? Buy when. Most retail traders are just hoping. They're trading without a business plan. Prop firm challenges give you a concrete goal. Make 8% within these rules. Suddenly, trading isn't this abstract activity. It's a measurable objective. But here's the deeper psychological benefit. Profit targets teach you to trade with patience and selectivity. Let's say you need to make 8% on a $100,000 account. That's $8,000. If you know you have unlimited time to hit this target, you start thinking differently about your trades. Instead of forcing trades because you're bored or because you need to be in the market, you wait for your absolute best setups. Why? Because you only need 8 to 10 really good trades to hit that target if you're risking 1% per trade with a 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 reward to risk ratio. Let's do the math. If you risk 1%, $1,000 per trade, and target a 2-to-1 reward to risk, each winner nets you $2,000. You need 4 winners to hit $8,000. Even with a 50% win rate, that's only 8 trades total. This completely changes your relationship with the market. You're not a gambler pulling the slot machine lever constantly. You're a sniper waiting for the perfect shot. I recently saw a case study from a prop firm where they analyzed traders who passed versus those who failed. The traders who passed took an average of 47 trades over 30 days. The traders who failed, they took an average of 127 trades in the same period. The failed traders weren't bad at finding winning setups. They actually had similar win rates. The problem was overtrading, taking marginal setups out of impatience or boredom. The profit target, combined with the drawdown limit, naturally weeded this behavior out. Now, why 2 phases? This is brilliant. One good month could be luck. Maybe the market just happened to trend in your direction. Maybe you got lucky with a few news events. But 2 phases? 2 separate periods where you need to prove you can hit a profit target while respecting risk limits? That's not luck. That's skill. That's consistency. The 2-phase system essentially asks, can you do it again? And that question forces you to develop a repeatable process, not just chase lucky trades. Profit targets transform trading from gambling to business planning. They teach you that success isn't about hitting home runs, it's about consistent base hits. And that mindset is what separates short-term winners from long-term successful traders. All right, let's talk about what might be the most important rule of all, the daily loss limit, typically set around 5% of your account balance. This is the rule that truly saves traders from themselves. Here's a scenario every trader has experienced. You start your day with a solid plan. You take your first trade based on your strategy. It goes against you. You take the loss. No problem, losses are part of trading. Second trade, same thing. Another loss. Now you're down maybe 2% on the day. You can feel it creeping in, that feeling. Frustration. Doubt. Is my strategy even working? Maybe I'm reading the market wrong today. Third trade, another loss. Now you're down 3%. And this is where the retail trader makes the fatal mistake. They keep trading. Why? Because they think, I just need one winner to make this all back. Just one good trade. But here's what's really happening in your brain. When you're in a losing streak, your brain enters fight or flight mode. Cortisol levels spike. Your prefrontal cortex, the rational, decision-making part of your brain, literally gets suppressed. The emotional, impulsive part takes over. In this state, you're not the same trader who made your trading plan. You're operating on emotion, not logic. You start seeing trade setups that aren't there. You enter positions trying to feel the market. You're revenge trading. Let me tell you about Sarah, a trader I know who now manages a 6-figure prop firm account. Before prop firms, she had one catastrophic day that she still talks about. She started the day down $500 on her $15,000 account. By lunchtime, she was down $1,200. She knew she should stop, but she didn't. By the end of the day, she had lost $4,800, nearly 32% of her account in a single day. 8 years of savings, significantly damaged in 6 hours. She told me, I knew I should stop. I knew it, but there was no one to stop me except myself, and the emotional version of me doesn't listen to the rational version. Now, contrast that with a prop firm daily loss limit. Let's say you're trading that same $100,000 account with a 5% daily loss limit, $5,000. You take 3 losses and you're down $3,000. You take a 4th trade, trying to recover, it goes against you. You hit your stop, you're down $4,000. You're frustrated, you want to keep going, you want that comeback trade, but you can't. The system literally locks you out. Your trading platform won't let you place another trade. The decision is made for you. At first, this feels terrible. You're sitting there, locked out, feeling like you could have made it back. But then, something magical happens over the next few hours. You cool down, you step away from the screens, you go for a walk, hit the gym, spend time with family. And by that evening, or the next morning, you look back at your trading journal and you realize, I was about to do something stupid. The daily loss limit saved me. There's actual research backing this up. A study on trading psychology found that traders who experienced a loss were 1.5 times more likely to take excessive risk on the very next trade. After 2 consecutive losses, that number jumped to 2.3 times more likely. The daily loss limit breaks this cycle. It forces a reset. It mandates the cooling off period that every trader knows they need, but can't enforce on themselves. Traders who've been with prop firms for a year or more report that even when they trade other accounts, they automatically stop themselves at their daily limit. The external rule became an internal standard. The daily loss limit is your psychological reset button. It protects you from your worst enemy, the emotional version of yourself. And it teaches you the single most important skill in trading, knowing when to walk away. Now let's zoom out and talk about the evaluation process as a whole. Why do prop firms make you go through this challenge in the first place? Here's something most people don't realize. The prop firm evaluation process mimics how actual institutional traders are assessed. If you were hired by a hedge fund or a trading desk at an investment bank, you wouldn't just be handed $10 million and told go trade. You'd go through a training program. You'd trade a simulated account. You'd need to prove consistent profitability over months before you touched real institutional capital. Prop firm challenges are essentially the same thing, just condensed and accessible to anyone with a few $100s. The challenge structure, with its 2 phases and time requirements, filters out the lucky from the skilled. It's not perfect, but it's remarkably effective. But beyond just proving profitability, the evaluation process develops something more important: professional trading psychology. The evaluation process literally trains you to think differently about trading. It's not just about passing a test, it's about becoming a different type of trader. Now, let's talk about something that goes beyond just the rules themselves. What these rules collectively teach you about being a professional trader. When you're trading within prop firm guidelines, you start treating trading like a business, not like gambling or a hobby. You track your statistics obsessively. Win rate, average winner, average loser, profit factor, expectancy. Why? Because you need to know if you're on track to hit your profit target while staying within your drawdown limits. This data-driven approach is exactly how institutional traders operate. They're not feeling the market, they're executing a statistical edge repeatedly. The rules force you to develop real risk management skills. You learn position sizing formulas. Perhaps most importantly, the prop firm structure teaches emotional regulation under pressure. You learn to take losses without revenge trading. You learn to take profits without getting overconfident. You learn to sit on your hands when there's no setup. You learn patience, discipline, and emotional control. And here's something people don't talk about enough. If you successfully trade a prop firm account for a year or 2, you've essentially built a track record. That track record can open doors. I know traders who use their prop firm performance history to get hired by hedge funds, to raise capital from family offices, or to attract investors for their own funds. The prop firm wasn't just funding, it was a career accelerator. Even if your goal is just to eventually trade your own capital successfully, going through a prop firm challenge is still worthwhile. Why? Because it installs the psychological operating system you need to survive long term. It's like learning to trade with guardrails before you drive on the open highway. Many successful private traders I know started with prop firms specifically because they wanted to develop discipline before risking their own significant capital. So let's bring this all together. Prop firm rules, drawdown limits, profit targets, daily loss limits, evaluation phases. These aren't arbitrary restrictions designed to make your life harder. They're psychological training tools designed to make you better. They force you to develop the discipline that 90% of traders lack. They install professional habits that separate consistent winners from the crowd. They create a structure that protects you from your own worst impulses. The drawdown limit is your psychological safety net. Profit targets teach you consistency over luck. Daily loss limits are your emotional reset button, and the evaluation process trains you to think like an institutional trader. Whether you pass your first challenge or your fifth, the process itself is valuable. Every attempt is teaching you something about your psychology, your discipline, and your approach to the market. The rules aren't the obstacle. The rules are the curriculum. And the lesson they teach: discipline, patience, risk management, emotional control. That's the difference between the 10% who make it and the 90% who don't. If you found this valuable, hit that subscribe button. I've got more content coming on prop firm strategies and how to actually pass these challenges.